laying out sort of a groundwork of what we might see. I mean, Democrats have
Hi
already
guys, welcome back to my run. Last Epoch.
well, he's facing 4 criminal indictments. They've gone that route.
I mean, these are the people who say that they care about democracy. That democracy is the most important thing in this country. That democracy is up for, that it's going to die if Donald Trump were to win. And yet, when it comes to getting him in office, they don't want anyone voting for him. They want to take that ability, that right away from millions, tens of billions of Americans who want to vote for Donald Trump and who voted for him before. Let's not forget that the Democrats never supported Donald Trump as a legitimate president in the first place. 2017.
Brought me back a bit.
Democrats refused to show up.
Had to run through probably about 5 minutes extra ahead of this.
For the sake of democracy, that
The map disappeared.
So they're on that train, and that's just what they say is almost projection.
So I reported it.
Their threat to democracy narrative isn't real.
It's almost like they're a threat to democracy. Yes, actually.
Exactly right. Well, coming up, cannons, boats, and bar simulators. Are we really on the doorstep of the next doomsday? That's that. Stay with us.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our new snow comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our My Pillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and they sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Pillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
iTown, what? Or you teach your town. After we find out about GovX.com, a savings site for vets like us, nurses, first responders, and other Americans who serve. Well, you look great. We look great, Tom, with thousands of exclusive discounts. Our drinks are cold, our watches are smart, and our future is so bright we gotta wear premium shades at an unbeatable price. Tropical paradise with travel deals from GovX. You're about to meet. But quick, you gotta sign up or we'll all cease to exist. Visit GovX.com.
I am embarrassed to say this, but I've been using deodorant on my armpits for the past 40 years. And yet anytime I noticed odor anywhere else, I thought I needed a second shower, I wasn't clean, or there was something wrong with me. And then my gynecologist told me about Lumi. It's a whole body deodorant for kids, feet, and private that controls odor anywhere and everywhere in your body. I tried it and I noticed a difference right away. Everywhere. You won't realize the body odor you've just been living with until you try Lumi and it's gone. Go to LumiDeo.com to build a life bundle today. 90,000 new chemicals have entered our body. Only 1% have been tested for safety. With every breath, modern living is breaking down your barriers, weakening your defense against threats from your everyday environment. But nature holds a solution. Our colostrum. Grazing on nutrient-rich soil, farmer cows produce premium colostrum with over 400 living nutrients. Unleash the transformation for your health.
Sandals Winter Sale is now on for a limited time. Visit sandals.com or call 1-800-SANDALS.
This is the carry-on closet, a suitcase with a one-of-a-kind package closet system that keeps you organized anywhere. Pack all you need for up to 10 days and travel without ever unpacking. The comfort of home on the go. Unpack in seconds, still guard time.
Not do that.
Culture is pushing us towards women in sports, but you have to empower the women to see it. By design, we're in a world that was not built for us. I feel like I've done a lot of amazing things, but the stakes are as high as they'll ever be.
Women of the W, they have been here and they're not going away. This is our opportunity to get it right. Sky's the limit.
We are back. The next level shack battle has begun.
You'll have to earn your place on one of our
Hey, you watch anytime. For 6 new episodes every Thursday.
You'll get a second chance.
We need the best. We'll make the I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Take you guys 20 minutes.
But on the most competitive season yet.
3, 2, 1.
Tonight, just not going nice. Follow me Next Level Shack. Thursdays on Fox and watch anytime on Hulu.
Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. New video tonight of the mob that attacked a teen migrant in Times Square. Fox News correspondent C.B. Cotton has an update on the search for about a dozen attackers connected to the crime.
Hi, Katie. The prosecutors say the attack happened in broad daylight and was 23 people against one. The DA's office says it was a 16-year-old who went after the victim with a knife, while a mob of others punched, kicked, and stomped on the victim. So the NYPD released this surveillance video of the attackers. On Saturday, 4 of the suspects were arraigned in Manhattan criminal court. 3 16-year-olds and a 22-year-old man, who were all charged with gang assault, and criminal possession of a weapon. Prosecutors asked for the suspects to be held on cash bail because they've only been in the country 1 to 3 years. This was the knife the NYPD found at the scene. Next to it is part of a broomstick, which officers say broke in half after a suspect used it to beat the teen. The 17-year-old is expected to recover, but according to court docs, his lung was punctured and collapsed. Officers releasing these photos asking for the public's help to identify 16 remaining suspects. The DA's office says the facts of the case indicate there is some type of ongoing violent dispute between the suspects and the victim. During yesterday's arraignment, prosecutors painted a picture that this attack was calculated, saying the attackers wore masks and waited for the opportunity to charge after the team. The suspects who've been arraigned are due back in court this week. 2 14-year-olds have also been arrested, and their cases have been moved to family court, where details of their involvement will remain sealed. Katie.
All right, thank you, CB. Switching gears a little bit, the whole idea about preparing for a doomsday scenario is front and center in the Netflix movie Leave This World Behind. And now some billionaires are building ridiculous bunkers that include fiery moats and water cannons. Sounds like a lot of fun. And now you can escape reality and live on Mars, kind of. NASA is looking for 4 people to join a year-long mission locked inside its Mars simulator in Houston, Texas. Guy Benson is shaking his head. It's in America. You're not leaving the Earth.
I need to befriend one of these billionaires with the moats. That's where I want to be in the event of a doomsday, because I'm not a prepper. Let me just confess. If something were to happen, like something bad,
You're not a prepper?
I'm not at all.
How can you tell?
If something bad were to happen, I'd be probably the first person to die. Right? I have my phone, which I have no electricity. I'm like, well, I can't order sushi, and I just would expire. Like I would be useless in this scenario. So I'm really rooting against it.
Charlie, we know that you would be good as a prepper at doomsday.
Yeah, I'm just amazed at like billionaires. So there's a Netflix show about this?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's probably why the only reason. I mean, we've been doing this for decades. This is like how we live.
There it is.
Prepping is kind of the whole point of being live these days. But I do think
Do you have a bunker?
trust me, I've got water sources. I can survive a very long time. It's harder than I think a lot of people.
You're putting my point in the question. So
I am. It's like when somebody asks you what to describe your gun collection. It's like, yeah, so.
And you're not talking about
You don't want to find out how much it is. But I do think it's kind of interesting that if this is how bad it is to survive in America, that you have like an illegal alien getting beat up by illegal aliens in Times Square. This is where we are today. Like a bank robber walks down the sidewalk. This is what you get for these people.
So Lisa, things are so bad apparently here on Earth that
Yes.
people are trying to leave, and NASA's doing this simulation. So would you live on Mars for a year? Dabble.
yeah, why not? I don't think there's dabble.
Yeah,
You have to go.
Yeah, sure, why not? No, they're building bunkers to the world bunkers. Yeah. Actually, I am a prepper. I have like 3 years of food. I have a thing to make a fire. I have a go bag. I don't know where you go. You get prepared. And you know, it's actually when AT&T, when all the phones were, I was thinking about this, and because I could barely survive that. I'm like, whoa. I think if I retired and I didn't really have obligations, maybe you could come visit me in the Mars simulator. It'd be
Houston, Texas.
I might do it for a
But
year.
did you know if they took out the Houston power grid, if they said they would remove the death of 90% of the population on the East Coast?
Oh, me first, as I
You
said.
take care.
Unless, so I don't live that far from Katie, I would come straight to your house because you have all the guns.
This side of the table probably wouldn't survive very long. I think this side, you guys would have it. We'll come hang out with you guys.
But I don't understand the whole thing about that. Isn't it like 4 light years away?
Okay, but this is a simulation.
Isn't it like a light year, like bajillion miles?
I'm just saying that it'd be fun. Why not try? Why not? You know, we have all kinds of things. We got billions of dollars. We can build a
I just don't understand how we go like light years. I just don't know. I've
We
never
really can't. I'm definitely down. Maybe someday. All right, coming up, Gavin, the galvanizer, the California governor, is laying it on thick to get voters on Biden's side, but as the media calling his bluff, that's next.
Streaming now on Fox Station, an all-new episode of the groundbreaking series.
These jurors sat at the center of Alabama's murder trial. Now they speak out about the trial and new revelations.
The Fall of the House of Murdoch. The Jurors Speak. Streaming now on Fox Station. Then binge all the episodes.
This should be written in Hollywood because it's so unbelievable.
Do you believe the killer is still out there?
The groundbreaking series, The Fall of the House of Murdoch. Streaming now on Fox Station. Sign up at foxstation.com.
One of the things I love to do is watercolor painting, balance of nature. It allows me to be creative.
Balance of nature has been that difference. And what he's done for me has been nothing short of
Balance of nature has been that's totally done. Go to balanceofnature.com and get 35% off plus $10 off any additional sets as a preferred customer by using discount code FOXNEWS.
what you start having a concern there's that much.
To this day, I only pay what I had to pay for the device. I go back, everything is coming. There's so much for this I've not had experience.
We'll find you a hearing if it's your lifestyle and budget. Enjoy sweet offers during our limited time Love Your Hearing event. Call 1-800-MIRACLE-NOW.
Here at Allegiance Flag Supply, we can see our flying flags that were made overseas, flags that were ripped and teared. So we really made a commitment to quality. All of our flags are made from hard packing and all the stress points, and they are sewn in double needle lock stitching.
All of our flag materials are sourced in America and they are made by Americans. So we're American made from beginning to end.
Shop now at showaallegiance.com.
Before I came into the picture, Anne not only had her 2 children to care for, but her father as well. I love being his angel's caregiver and ensuring that David can live independently and continue to do what he loves. Now Anne can stop being a caregiver and return to being a daughter. Join all of us who love helping families get back to being parents. Join us in celebrating 25 years of personal home care.
Inexpensive, expensive things. We know it sounds like a paradox, but we just flipped the way luxury is made. Like washing cashmere, get free shipping and 365-day returns at quince.com.
Parents, the liberal media and courts are desperate to stop President Trump, but he's poised to get back the White House. And my company wants to show your kids why with the Kids Guide to President Trump. Get it for free at retrumpguide.com.
Interesting game.
Super Beta CrossFit is the #1 men's CrossFit
For so many bathrooms.
Super Beta CrossFit. Find it at Walmart. Mondays, Fox exposes today's most shocking stories.
It's changed the way I see everything.
With the return of America's Most Wanted, followed by the new series. Investigates
Stalker are insane.
and the pursuit of justice.
The original true crime series is back.
The pursuit of the truth. When you hear what went down, outrage to Fox Mondays makes you America's most wanted, followed by TMZ Investigates. All new Mondays on Fox.
Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. It may not be the French Laundry, but it'll do. The glitz and glam of this weekend's White House Governor's Ball has Gavin Newsom sky high on Biden's 2024 run.
I mean, what he's done in 3 years has been a
The hell down
massive
south?
confidence moving forward. So the answer is absolutely all in terms of the next 4 years for Joe Biden.
Yet Newsom is still on the list of Democrats and media who say they have no qualms about Biden's mental fitness ahead of the 2024 election.
Also, seeing all the reporters barking at him, yelling at him, saying, "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and then he's got quick, fast, snappy, defensive replies. I would challenge our thinking on this in that people don't take it in the way we do.
And I think it's fair game, absolutely, to talk about Trump's age just as much as it is to talk about Biden's age. And I think the question will be how they view, Trump's legal issues compared to Biden's age.
But it seems not everyone in the media is on board. Some are speculating that Biden will be replaced. Business Insider list includes Newsom, Kamala Harris, and Cory Booker. So, Katie, I think it's fair to say that Joe Biden is putting on a master class, but I don't think it's the same master class that Gavin. Yeah, exactly. It's a different kind of master class.
Look, I'm not so sure that Republicans want to go down this road of potentially running against someone other than Joe Biden. He's a great candidate to run against, given all of the issues he has with, the topics at hand, illegal immigration, the economy, and also, of course, his age. And not just his age, but also the special counsel report that put into black and white what Americans have been watching for 3 years, which is that he's a bumbling old man sometimes who he gets confused. He needs no cards for basic tasks, talking to donors as well who are becoming concerned. And so we'll see if, something happens at convention. I'm not so sure, personally, Joe Biden is keen on replacing him. His family seems to be behind his second term. But Gavin Newsom definitely is at the front of the line when it comes to getting in if he wants to subside.
So one of the people who seems pretty confident that Joe Biden will be replaced is Joe Rogan. Listen to this.
But it seems like when they release information like that, they know what they're doing. They're slowly chipping away at it. And by the time, probably, I would say like May, world's race, it'll probably be Gavin Newsom. That would be my guess.
Dude, when you just look at California, one of the most beautiful states, arguably the most beautiful in America. Resources for days, everything. It's just him, Pelosi, Maxie, and Waters, and Adams, they just the whole state up.
I mean, granted, I kind of like a world where Joe Rogan and Kim Roberts serve as great political figures, but I mean, since you're the point, you have fun.
They need a mouthwash. That was so effective.
I think it's probably a thought bubble that, is being put out there and introduced to the public, but I don't know if it matters who the Democrat nominee is as long as they have the Democrat machinery behind them, particularly in this era of mail-in balloting. I mean, you look at Pennsylvania alone in 2020, I think almost 3 out of 4 every mail-in ballot went for Biden. Biden is winning Pennsylvania by less than 2% of the vote. You have this internal fight going on right now within the Republican Party of how we should handle mail-in balloting, where Trump's still kind of against it. You've got the RNC with Bank Your Vote encouraging it. And then even in the state of Pennsylvania, you have Republicans there trying to raise money to encourage mail-in balloting. So I worry that what it could come down to is we win on the issues, and even Trump is better and wins against Biden. But when it comes down to the logistics, the machinery of the election, we might lose.
So, Guy, a lot of people focus on how Donald Trump inspires people to vote against Republicans, and there is some truth to that. But it also, in a weird way, what gets sort of overlooked is the fact that because of that unifying of the Democrat Party, people don't talk about how terribly splintered the Democrat Party is.
And I think those splinterings that you're referencing would really come out in a nuclear way at a broker convention. If Biden were to step
Excellent.
aside and you had different factions showing up at the very last minute and this clawing for power, it would be, I think, volcanic and maybe very damaging, I think, to their party, which is why I think
many of them are skeptical that they want to go that direction. Even with all the concerns they have about the incumbent, I still can't get over the clip that we played, the montage here at the beginning of the segment with someone I think on CNN, talking about how quick and snappy Biden's response to other questions. Like, first of all, what questions? He almost never gives questions. And what are you talking about? What did you see? He's like, she said, the voters don't see things the way we do. The voters see things very clearly based on every single poll. Last point, Gavin Newsom. I think it's very obvious what he's doing. He is going so over the top, masterclass, all that, so no one can accuse him of not being all in for Biden. So if Biden loses, he can sort of say, look, I did my very best, but I told you so. And if Biden were to be persuaded to step aside for whatever reason, he's Mr. Magnanimous, who's been a good soldier every step of the way. He's pretty transparent, I think, this Newsom, and that's how I read his behavior.
Stevie Wonder can see it.
He's so unctuous and greasy and oily. He's like,
Yeah,
he gives like you through Marshall. Okay. Okay, coming up. Comedian Shane Gillis finally gets the shot on Saturday Night Live. So what does the liberal media do? They use the comedian's debut to bash him.
Now, ADT professionally installs Google Nest products.
You're all set.
With the most trusted name in home security as the intelligence of Google, you have a home with no worries. Brought to you by ADT.
Did you order and save your RX even if you have insurance?
Come on, Meg. I checked that RX because it could be nah.
Even if you have insurance, the RX can be saved. Another business to check your RX.
Believe it or not, baby, you can earn your masters.
For under 11,000.
Masters for under what you can in less than
Earn your competency-based masters at University of Phoenix. For gentle, dependable constipation relief, try Seneca. It will stimulate on your laxatives because it's made from the Senna plant, a natural vegetable laxative. Gentle, dependable, Seneca. Also available in delicious gummies. I'm Laura Geller, and I'd like to show you how to use my favorite foundation, Big Balance and Bright. Just take strokes until you feel comfortable with what it looks like on your skin. I get this beautiful, natural coverage. Learn more at laurageller.com.
Should we sell it?
Our low mileage is paying off. You think we should?
Go to CarFarm and track your car's value today.
AG1 works by obsessing over potency, absorbency, and nutrient density to help your body get the most out of everything we can do. Get the foundational nutrition you need at drinkag1.com.
When you can't watch, listen. Get the latest news, business, and news headlines on SiriusXM. Anytime, anywhere. Fox News Audio on SiriusXM. America is listening. This is Fubo TV.
Beat up to me. We'll never steal from the weak, the vulnerable again. Set me afire.
Okay, thanks.
Outside to change the map.
The system is corrupt.
They corrected it. Stolen millions from people who work hard all their lives.
We have laws for these things.
Until they fail to do
Eterra's most sacred artifact, holding great power to travel through time. If Raya were to get his talons on it, he would surely win the race. More than that, he'd be untouchable. Just one. Each shard is part of the whole. We keep them separated for protection. This responsibility makes the keepers what we are. Two of them. The one I keep with me and the one
Every
from
penny I was making
the
was spent
third.
on drugs. When I found out about what the United Way could do, I was sitting inside
Lena sent him
on
after
the
it.
phone, talking with someone saying, I'm gonna lose everything.
There's no time.
I
The
might as well,
alternative could be to leave one with Lena. drawing the ostrich's attention to her.
In 14 years.
Oh, I could not let that happen.
Wait a minute, that was.
Yes, though right now with Raya at our heels, the votes are one cannot use a single shot, manipulate time as they wish.
Welcome back to
Not
today's
even
weekend
we
show.
know
The
the
taste
Epoch
of
for
victory is
protection.
sweet.
But
Saturday Night
Eterra
Live brings
tasked
back
us to
comedian
protect
Shane
it.
Gillis after
To
firing
protect
him.
it, we
But not
must.
every cast member
Now, I find a new course of
Little
action.
boy is just that mom gave
Take
us
the
friends.
Epoch,
Look at this
somewhere
serial
where
killer.
it's on reach.
I was gay for my mom. She would pick me up from school. I'd hop in the van with that girl. Tell me about your day. I thought she was cool.
Let's
I
head
listened to
back
her
to camp.
music and
I must reach Lynn at once.
Let's go, girls. I would dance for her. My little dancer.
I must
And then
remind
there was this
myself to
banger,
find
a
suitable
parody of a
provisions
Liberty
for
Mutual
the
insurance
way.
commercial that was cut for
Pray in
time
this
and
area
posted on
upset
SNL
a
social
Drake's
media.
stomach. Could I would simply feed him soldiers that question our bonds.
They don't need.
While my wounds showed me the path to the Epoch, he's granted a similar. Ember wings raised from its draconic form, reforged in Raya's
The
image.
LA Times called out the hosting choice in an op-ed, writing this. SNL's olive branch to Shane Gillis reflects behavior failure to learn from the hate movement that blossomed during the Trump era. So, guys, do you buy the cut for time method?
I don't know. So I actually watched that whole fake ad for Liberty Mutual, and it goes on. It gets very dark. The Limu, in fact, shoots and kills that customer, and it turns out that he's like a dirty cop, and like there's cocaine involved. It's a dark and hilarious sketch. I guess they didn't air it. And then they do the little Liberty jiggle at the end too, it was very funny. I think they should have aired that. I'm happy that they brought this comedian back to host. And these scolds, this is the LA Times piece, right? These scolds, oh, this is dangerous. What a miserable way to live. Okay, if this guy wrote or said something that was bad and they maybe went overboard, firing, whatever, is there no path back to redemption? You can never do anything ever again? Like, I'm glad that SNL ignored that mentality and brought it back maybe belatedly, because he did a good job.
Charlie, aren't comedians supposed to push the boundaries and be controversial?
You would hope. I mean, I didn't see just from what we saw right there, it's sort of hard to get how funny it was. But yeah, but it's like, this is the problem with these people. It's like, like the LA Times, their entire existence is based on the First Amendment and the right to free speech. And as soon as somebody else exercises their free speech and says something they don't like or they don't agree with, they are the first ones to try to take it away from people. And it's a really demented way to go through, I should say, to go through life, in a miserable way to go through life.
Although, like, Shane Gillis won this round, right, Katie? Because he's coming back as a host.
Well, look, Americans, people all over, are itching for more comedy. They want to laugh at things, especially in times that feel very heavy. And so that's why you've seen the success of Dave Chappelle, Greg Gutfeld, Pat Tim, Jimmy Fallon. People really want to laugh about these things, and the oversensitivity and calling jokes about certain people hate movements, I think people are getting really tired of that. There's a reason why you've seen comedians refusing to go to college campuses, for example. It's just not worth it to them. They're going to go to an audience, and there are many of them that exist, where people want to laugh and not take things too seriously. And comedy is a great way to joke and to really establish what's happening in the country, almost a historical record in a way that can be funny. And so people want more jokes. They don't want to be scolded, as Guy said. And so he won that one, and I'm sure that he'll be back somewhere else, even if SNL doesn't come back.
I mean, real quick, Charlie, have we lost our sense of humor in the country?
Oh yeah, I think without a doubt. But also, it's not just the humor; it's also the truthfulness. I mean, the whole point of court jesters is that they tell the truth, and it's in a funny way, and they get away with it. They don't get beheaded by the king.
All right, stick around. The Big Four is next.
We talk about cash backing. Not a game. Not a game. We talking about cash backing. No. We talking about cash backing. We talking about cash backing. We talking about cash backing. Not a game. We talking about practice. Too long. Word. No practice. We talking about cash backing. We talking about cash backing. I mean, we're not talking about a game.
a big deal. Our first coaching duo is the new season of The Voice with a double J. Buckle up, Raymond. In the clear deal or no deal island.
More adventure, same question. Deal or no deal?
Check your local listings.
To celebrate the new year, we're having the biggest sale ever on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save 60% on our Goosedown comforters, the best comforters ever. They go perfectly with our My Pillow bed sheets and duvet covers. Save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels. They're made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. Our seasonal flannel sheets are finally in. You save up to 50%, and these sell out fast every year, so order now. They're truly the best flannel sheets you'll ever sleep on. Or save up to 80% on all our clearance items. And this is where it gets even better. For a limited time, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Pillow products. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
48% of Americans don't get enough magnesium, which is vital for bone, nerve, and muscle health. I recommend Qunol's extra strength high absorption magnesium. It gives you 100% of the daily value of magnesium. Qunol, the brand I trust.
Once retired, Marcus decided I will never again work for another man or woman. I abandoned my corporate phone plan, and I'll get a new plan with consumers selling for up to half the cost.
Let's go, birds.
When freedom calls, we're here to answer. I can stand here and tell you that my prostate cancer wasn't caught early. I might not be alive today.
I can tell you I had no symptoms, but I still talked to my doctor during my annual exam. I got screened. And with the right treatment, I'm expected to remain disease-free.
I can tell you that 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime.
Chapter 2.
More than 6 for black men, and we're more than twice as likely to die from it.
I can tell you that with family history, his risk is 2 times higher.
I could tell you that fighting this disease affects the whole family.
I could tell you that the cutting-edge research funded by the Prostate Cancer Foundation has helped patients live longer with less complications.
I could tell you all this, but really, it's up to you.
It's your health. It's your life. Go to PCF.org for the help you need to navigate this disease. Go to PCF.org today.
Deep in the heart of Texas, Will King is turning heads.
I get that a lot.
A podcast with big names, big topics, and one unique perspective. Stream live on foxnews.com or anytime at willkingshow.com.
Welcome back to the Big Weekend Show. It's time now to look for our big stories everyone is talking about this week. I will go first. Former Texas Congressman Beto O'Rourke is endorsing a plan to snub Joe Biden as the Congress in hopes to pressure the president into calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. The plan aims for voters to cast uncommitted on their ballots so the commander-in-chief receives less votes to the primary. You know, can he just go away?
Well, you know that you're the pro-Hamas voters. Is it Beta or Beto?
It's Robert Francis. It's Robert Francis. Robert Francis. It's Robert Francis. Don't anyone third.
Yeah.
All right, Katie.
All right. Well, several Democratic states, including Washington, Illinois, and New Jersey, have given more than $500 million of the $1.9 trillion COVID relief package to illegal immigrants. So while they're looking for more money, as Joe Biden continues to have the border open, they're spending more of your tax money that is allocated for something else on these people. So remember, everybody, Americans, tax day is April 15th. Keep paying up because it needs to be spent on people who broke the law to get in.
Yeah, that was a slush fund. It always was. And that would stop it.
Republicans warned about it.
All right, I got this story here. Bombshell phone records expose Fulton County DA Bonnie Willis and her squeeze, special prosecutor, and former now claimed Nathan Wade. The cell data involved here indicates that Wade visited Willis's neighborhood right around where she lived before he was hired, contradicting previous testimony about the relationship starting in 2022. For defenders, who said that doesn't prove anything, but the cell phone records don't lie. And apparently, guys, she would
maybe allegedly host him overnight a few times based on when he arrived and when he left, and they testified that never happened. So this could be a problem for what Trump might call naughty Fanny.
Sleepover. All right. It's promoted as the most insane athletic showdown on earth. It's the Florida Man Games, a competition that pokes fun at the state's reputation for bizarre stories involving antics that would normally land someone in jail or the hospital. Competitors fought hard in events like beer wrestling and evading police. I wish for the space. It looks like fun. I could see Charlie participate in.
I can see you doing
Yes.
right there, Lisa.
Yeah. I think it's beer pong.
Yeah. This is your new state, right?
Sometimes there's no alligator wrestling in that school. What do you think? How's there no alligator wrestling in the Florida Man Games?
I would skip that part.
And pythons too. I mean, you got to get the animals involved.
I don't dabble with dangerous animals.
It's a man game. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but
yes, no, I'm saying
There is no Florida man without alligators.
right.
We'll look into it.
Well, yeah.
And we're done, guys. We're out of time. Because it for all the next weekend. Life, Liberty, the event starts right now.
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin, and this is Life, Liberty, and Levin Sunday. Great way here, and it's a killer show. Feel it, I know it. Great guest, Peter Schweizer. Exclusive interview. He's got massive information about Communist China and how they're buying off Republicans and Democrats. First time you're going to hear about it in just a few minutes. We have a great law professor, John Yu. We'll talk to him about some of the issues that are out there as well, so I'm glad you're with us. But first, I want to tell you folks about an individual named Timms, Tyson Timms. Tyson Timms pleaded guilty in Indiana State Court to dealing in a controlled substance and conspiracy to commit theft. At the time of Timms' arrest, the police seized a Land Rover SUV Timms had purchased for $42,000 with money he received from an insurance policy with his father. The state sought civil forfeiture of Timms' vehicle, charging that the SUV had been used to transport heroin. Observing that Timms had recently purchased the vehicle for more than 4 times the maximum $10,000 monetary fine assessable against him for the drug conviction, the Indiana trial court denied the state's request to turn over its $42,000 vehicle. The vehicle's forfeiture court determined that would be grossly disproportionate to the gravity of Timms' offense and therefore unconstitutional under the 8th Amendment's excessive fines clause. The Court of Appeals of Indiana agreed. They affirmed. But the Indiana Supreme Court said, no, we reverse. Because the 8th Amendment of the federal Constitution, the Bill of Rights, well, it doesn't apply to the state penalty. And what, again, does the 8th Amendment say? We've never talked about the 8th Amendment more than we are now. Why? Because I brought it up, and my friend Arthur Ferguson, who's a brilliant attorney, we were the first to point this out. And what's happened in New York against Donald Trump is clearly a violation of the 8th Amendment. Stick with me. This is very important. What does it say? Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishment inflicted. Does that phrase, nor excessive fines imposed, have anything to do with the states? Well, I read to you the summary of the facts from a decision, the Timms versus Indiana decision that was issued in 2019. A mere 4.5 years ago, this decision was available to Letitia James, the state Attorney General of New York. This decision was available to the judge, the crony judge in this case. It's available to the whole world. And it sets the standard for the United States, including the state courts, on what they can and cannot do. So what did the Supreme Court say? First of all, it was a 9-0 decision. Not a single justice agreed with the state prosecutors and the state government. Not one. The majority opinion had seven bipartisan justices. There were 2 concurring opinions, but they all agreed that it violated the 8th Amendment. They wrote this, and the opinion was written by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, no less. The 8th Amendment's excessive fines clause is an incorporated protection applicable to the states under the 14th Amendment's due process clause. So it applies to the states through due process
under the 14th Amendment. It's called the Incorporation Doctrine. That's why the First Amendment, Second Amendment, virtually all the other amendments are applied to the state, because when they're fake, they don't apply to the state. So the Supreme Court said, these do, and this does. This is 4.5 years ago. The judge in the case, does he not read the Supreme Court decision? The Attorney General, does she not read it, or she just doesn't care about it? But here it is. We care about it. The 14th Amendment's Due Process Clause
It's
incorporates
a good time to save.
to the state's Bill of Rights protections.
Excellent. We'll catch up with you guys next time, alright? Peace.
Rooted in this nation's history and tradition. This is the court, unanimous. If a Bill of Rights protection is incorporated, there is no daylight between the federal and state conduct it prohibits or requires. They go on. The prohibition embodied in the excessive fines,